Namaskar, Sat Sri Akal, welcome and Adab. You are listening to Bharat FM, a one-of-its-kind, multilingual, eclectic provider of entertainment, information and news to Indian Americans. Headquartered in Cincinnati, Ohio, Bharat FM airs shows out of Cincinnati, Chicago and Phoenix. We take pleasure in our ability to cater to your bhakti, chusti, sphurti, shakti and masti needs with our audio and visual shows. Check out bharatfm.com for our online program schedule and archives. I'm sure the content will definitely tickle your senses. Tune in via the 24-hour web streaming on bharatfm.com or via the Bharat FM app. More information can be procured at 513-488-5070.
This is Bharat FM.
बजेगा भारत, झूमेगा भारत.
ये है भारत FM.
बजेगा भारत, झूमेगा भारत.
Namaskaram. Happy Dashera to all the viewers and listeners of Storytellers Cafe. Welcome to this Dashera special on Storytellers Cafe. Today is the 10th day of Navaratri, and we are celebrating Dashera, the victory of good over evil. As you've been watching the last 9 days, we've been showcasing Antarmayi, finding the inner goddess. It's been a wonderful journey for the last 8 days, and you've been seeing the clipping and also watching the story as it progressed from the beginning. So today is the culmination. We will be showcasing the entire video clipping of Antarmayi, all the 9 days episodes. And today's episode will also be part of that entire video. And sit back with your family, enjoy this production, which has been specially curated, choreographed for Storytellers Cafe. And I'm indeed grateful to the 3 wonderful dancers, Sujatha, Ramanathan, Ragini, Iyer from Bangalore. Sujatha is from Mumbai, and Rakshita, Raghunathan from Coimbatore. So all 3 have put this together despite living in different cities, and this has been done in just a matter of 2 weeks, and I would say it is the goddess's grace and karuna. And today we also have a very acclaimed artist, a Bharatanatyam artist and researcher, Dr. Padmaja with us, and I will bring them onto the studios a little later. But let's get started with this Navaratri special, Antarmayi, finding the inner goddess. I would like to start with a shlokam. Sarva Mangala Mangalye Shive Sarvartha Sadike Sharanye Trayambike Gauri Narayani Namostute. Happy Dashera once again to all the listeners and viewers of Storytellers Cafe. Thank you for watching all the episodes every day and traveling this quest. And sometimes we've been going into the past and then listening to the story and then applying it, right? We've been decocting, distilling the essence of the story. So without further ado, join me today as we take you, the team Antarmayi, to the dusky plains of ancient India, guarded by the granite sentinels of the impossibly tall Himalayan ranges. A time where no pestilence or pandemic prevailed, but certainly trouble was brewing on earth. a time when great cosmic forces were working beyond our human comprehension, a time of transition, sowing seeds of dissent, discord, and darkness. So, get ready to travel back in time to the Satya Yuga. And here we meet Markandeya. You know, gods also love to listen to stories. So here Markandeya is telling a story to another great sage, Baguri. And the story goes like this. Once upon a time, a long time ago, there lived a king called Suradha, who was driven out of his kingdom by his own people. And he lost everything like his kingdom, name, fame, due to his evil minded ministers and other enemies. And he met one Vaisya, a businessman, a merchant called Samadhi, who was wealthy, who was also thrown out of his house by his own wife and sons due to their greed for his wealth. Now, both of them take asylum in the forest, take shelter in the hermitage of sage Medhas. Now, despite the peaceful environment of the hermitage, both the king and the merchant remained sad and dejected, always thinking about their worldly belongings left behind and the very same persons who were ungrateful, their family and subjects, unloving, and who caused them wrong, not knowing the reasons for their attachment to them, because the king and the merchant were still attached to the people who had thrown them out. Now, Sage Medhas explains to them that this attachment is due to Mahamaya, who makes the existence of the world possible with all its dualities. It's all illusion. This Mahamaya is also the Yoga Nidra of Vishnu, the Lord of the three worlds. The sage tells them that all this is the illusion created by the great goddess called Vishnu Maya. Now, the king and the merchant become curious. Their attention or their appetite is aroused and they want to know more. What is the story behind this goddess Mahamaya? And that's when Sumedas relates to them the story of Devi Mahatmayam, which consists of embedded narrative or frame stories, stories within stories. Three stories, in all of which Shakti, the supreme energy, kills the enemies of righteousness. In this context, Sage Medhas recalls first the tale of the destruction of the two asuras, Madhu and Kaitaba, by Lord Vishnu with the help of Mahamaya. During the mystic slumber of the Lord, the two asuras, Madhu and Kaitaba, sprang up and threatened to kill Brahma. Seeing these two fierce asuras and Vishnu in deep slumber, Brahma worshipped Yoga Nidra to awaken him. So we saw the awakening of Vishnu. He described the Mahamaya in several wonderful terms, such as the incomparable goddess. And after eulogizing her thus, Brahma implored the mother to charm the two asuras with her superior powers and let Vishnu awaken from his sleep and rising up to his true nature, slay them. Thus, Mahamaya herself appeared when praised by Brahma to become an instrument for the killing of the two asuras. The second story is how Shakti, the supreme goddess, helped the Devas by killing the shape-shifting demon or asura Mahishasur. The legend of the killing of Mahishasur is then described in a war between the Devas and the Asuras. The Asuras defeated the Devas, and Mahishasur became the lord of the heavens in place of the ruling god Indra. Now, the Devas, led by Brahma, went to Shiva and Vishnu and complained about the atrocities being perpetrated by the Asuras under their master Mahishasur. Now, when Shiva heard about the misdeeds of the Asuras, a great stream of light issued out of Vishnu. So also from Shiva and Brahma, Indra and other devas. All this light came to be concentrated into one huge mountain of flames permeating all the three worlds with its luster, and then it assumed a female form. Looking at her, the immortals who were oppressed by Mahishasur experienced unending joy. All the devas gave her several martial weapons as offerings. Mahishasur responded to this situation with wonder and rushed towards the female form. He saw Devi pervading the three worlds with her radiance. In the battle that followed between Devi and the army of Mahishasur, the latter was completely wiped out, eviscerated. Here, Devi is referred to as Chandika, Ishwari, and Ambika. Now we come to the third story. It is about the great Asura brothers, Shumba and Nishumbha. Shumba and Nishumbha defeated the Devas like Indra, Vayu, Agni, etc., and took away their authority and functions. The story goes as to how the two brothers of Ashura's stock sought to conquer the three worlds by subjecting themselves to severe penance and purification rituals so that no man or demon could destroy them. So, where do Shumba and Nishumba go? Not to the Himalayas, but they go to Pushkar, a sacred place, and remain there in prayer for thousands of years. Brahma, the creator, saw the brothers' penance and was pleased and granted them the boon they requested. Like I said before, the gods were pretty short sighted. Now, the two demons were ambitious and wanted to rule the three worlds. With this intention, they began wreaking havoc in the heavens. They waged war against the gods, defeated them, and drove them out of heaven. The gods rushed to Shakti, the goddess, for help. Now, Shakti, the goddess Devi, appeared as Parvati, and out of Parvati's physical sheath, Kosha, emerged the form of Kaushiki. Kaushiki was very beautiful and resplendent with the brightness of a million moons. Let's take a pause here. There is a pecking order among the Asuras too. It was at this time that Chanda and Munda, the two lesser known Asuras, in the service of Shumba, encountered Kaushiki. They were bedazzled. Before them stood the most beautiful woman they had ever seen. She was so beautiful and so graceful that for a minute they even forgot who they were. She appeared all curves and duck face, dusky toned, light limbed, and shapely as a swan. The two of them rushed back and told their master of her celestial divine beauty. And they added that since Shumba and Nishumba owned everything that was beautiful and precious in all the three worlds, they should also possess Kaushiki. Thus persuaded, Shumba and Nishumba sent a messenger to Kaushiki to get her consent to marry one of them. Kaushiki was furious on hearing the proposal, and she amended her reply. Tell your master, I made a promise to myself to marry him who defeats me in battle, If either Shumba or Nishumba wishes to marry me, he shall have to defeat me in battle. Hearing this reply, Shumba and Nishumba got very angry. They summoned one of their bravest chieftains called Dhumralochana and sent him to capture and bring Kaushiki to them. The demon Dhumralochana and his retinue of 60,000 asuras, they went to abduct Kaushiki, but she took the form of Mahakali and managed to slay the entire army, decimated them. Next, Chanda and Munda were deployed, and of course, Kaushiki destroyed them too. Hence, Kaushiki Shakti, the Devi, got the epithet Chamundi after destroying Chanda and Munda. Markandeya continues his story and he says, when Shumba got the news of Chanda and Munda's death, we saw this episode unfolding yesterday, he became very furious. He proceeded to fight Shakti, accompanied by numerous mighty warriors. When Shakti saw them coming, the divine goddess, she made a loud sound by pulling the bowstring. The demons surrounded the Devi from all the sides. Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva became anxious. They wanted to protect Shakti. They created divine entities with the help of effulgence emanating from their bodies. These divine entities resembled Shakti in various forms. They instructed these divine entities to kill all the demons. Shakti, the divine goddess, the mother, as a last peace effort, requested Shiva to approach Shumba and Nishumba as her messenger and inform him that they should either take refuge in the Patal Lok, the another world, or be ready to die. Unable to face the assault of the Devi and her forms, the demons started fleeing the battlefield. Remember, friends, this is a framed narrative. Now enters Raktabija. Raktabija came forward to fight. Raktabija was blessed with the boon that if a single drop of his blood fell on the ground, this drop would create another form of his, clones. This way, in a very short time, thousands of Raktabijas covered the battlefield. The deities became afraid. Seeing their fright, Shakti, the mother, the supreme energy, opened her mouth and drank each drop of blood coming out from the injuries of Raktabija. She attacked him with her trident, and at last Raktabija too was killed. And Shakti, the divine goddess, started to dance with ferocity due to the intoxication caused by drinking of the blood. Finally, Shumba and Nishumba had no choice but to meet the divine goddess in direct combat. Although Brahma's boon had granted the brothers protection against men and demons, no such protection existed against goddesses. In spite of all that short-sightedness, there was always a caveat. Nishumba was the first to fall after assaulting the goddess's line. After Nishumba's death, a powerful demon emerged from his corpse, but Shakti managed to dispatch this monster as well by decapitating it. Upon seeing the death of his brother, Shumba went after the goddess in a rage, but was ultimately cleaved in two by the goddess's trident. Gory indeed. Here, in this third story, the goddess is referred to as Narayani, Gauri, Durga, Brahmani, and Kali. Her various attributes are then expounded. With Shumba and Nishumba gone, The three worlds returned to their ordinary state of being, rid of great evil. Peace reigned, and the cosmic order was once again restored. The sun shone, and the clouds gently drifted their way across the sky. And Markandeya concludes the story. And he says how, upon hearing this story, King Surada and the businessman, the merchant Samadhi, also did penance to invoke the blessings of the Devi, the Shakti, and got boons that they wanted. And with that, we come to the end of the story. The story outlines a philosophical foundation wherein the ultimate reality, Brahman in Hinduism, is the female form, Shakti. So I come to the end of my story, but this is not the end. This was just the synopsis. Now, you will watch the entire video and see the story unfold before you in an audio visual format. But before that, let me get the artists, the three Devis. First, Sujatha. Hi, Sujatha. Welcome once again.
Thank you, Usha. Thank you for such a wonderful recap of all the days. It's always lovely to hear you.
Thank you. And here we bring Ragini Iyer from Salem. Welcome to Storytellers Cafe, Ragini. And Ragini, you may have to unmute yourself.
Hello, Usha.
Welcome.
Hello, everyone. Happy Vijayadashmi.
Yes. And now I bring Rakshita, the youngest, and also my favorite, because she's like my own daughter. And welcome, Rakshita, to Storytellers Cafe
Hello,
and friends.
Shaka. Happy Vijayadashmi.
Happy Vijayadashmi to you too. All of you are looking resplendent in the purple color, that is for today. And let me bring the guest of honor onto our studios, Dr. Padmaja. Dr. Padmaja,
Namaskaram.
welcome to Namaskaram. Welcome to Storytellers Cafe.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Very happy to see Sujatha, Ragini, and Rakshita. Our students for a brief while, but great promise, great talent. Thank you.
Yes, we are very indeed happy and honored to have you here, ma'am. And I will just give a brief introduction about you to our audience. And Dr. Padmaja, like I said, is a very acclaimed artist of Bharatanatyam. And Dr. Padmaja is also a researcher and has been trained by prominent gurus like the stalwart guru Kalyana Sundaram Pillai. And I think it must be your father, Dr. Padmaja, right? Sri Chakyar Rajan? Or
Chakyar
is it?
Kutturajan.
Huh.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Dr. Padmaja holds a degree in commerce law, diploma in choreography, a master's in philosophy, and a doctorate from Mysore University. Dr. Padmaja has performed at all the major dance festivals around the world as well as in India and was honored at the Rashtrapati Bhavan by Dr. Kalam for her efforts to teach the lesser privileged children. That's wonderful to hear, Dr. Padmaja. Dr. Padmaja also represented the ICCR besides extensive concert tours to over 32 countries. She has her own institution called Atmalaya Academy in Bangalore that conducts workshops also in rural India. Dr. Padmaja also presented a TV serial called Natya Tantra. She regularly presents at international conferences like the World Sanskrit Conference Parliament of Religions, and was at the SNA Natya Shastra Seminar and Natya Kala Conference. Dr. Padmaja is also the assistant professor of the Bharatanatyam department at the University of Silicon, Andhra in California, and a guest faculty at a few other institutions. She has many titles and awards to her name, and you can look up Dr. Padmaja. We will definitely add her website. Like I said, she has a dance academy called Atmalaya. Welcome to Storytellers Cafe, Dr. Padmaja. Indeed a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
So, ladies, from now on, it's your show. I have done my bit, and I would like to hear from you all. And before we engage, should we watch the video first? Um, or would Dr. Padmaja like to say a few words?
No, I would like to watch the video because you have explained it so beautifully. The visualization already came up to all the viewers, I'm sure. And now the dance depiction of the story. That's what they're all looking forward to.
Okay, so Sujatha, shall we?
Yes, sure.
Okay, let me just. And I would request all of you to mute yourselves and let me bring the video on.
Would you like me to play, Tanisha?
Yes, go ahead.
You are Swaha. You are Swatha. You are the eternal half syllable that cannot be uttered. You are the power of sun, and you are the Divine Mother Supreme. You are the supreme knowledge, the great illusion, the supreme goddess, and the great demoness. You are the primordial cause of everything, bringing into force the three qualities. You are the dark night of periodic dissolution. You are the great night of final dissolution and the terrible night of delusion. You are the nectar, O eternal and imperishable essence of the threefold Om, armed with sword, spear, the club, conch, discus, bow and arrow, sling and iron mace. You are a very terrifying appearance. At the same time, you are pleasing and exceedingly beautiful. Oh Devi, let Vishnu, the master of the world, be quickly awakened from sleep and rouse up his nature to slay the two great asuras, Madhu and Kaitaba. Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva were furious that a great light came forth from them. All the Devas gathered to look at the mountain-like blazing light which pervaded the three worlds with its lustre. The lights from the Trinity and all the Devas then combined into a female form. From Shiva's light, the Devi's face came into being. From Yama's light, her hair. From Vishnu's light, her arms. From Chandra's light, her two breasts. From Indra's light, her waist. And from Varuna's light, her shanks and thighs. From Earth's light, her lips. From Brahma's light, her feet. From Surya's light, her toes. From Vasu's light, her fingers. From Kubera's light, her nose. From Prajapati's light, her teeth. From Agni's light, her three eyes. And from Sandhya's light came her eyebrows. And from Vayu's light came her ears. The immortals experienced such immense joy that each Deva bestowed a copy of his own signature weapon, shield, and other adornments. Thus, she assumed the Mahadevi Rupam with 18 hands, ready to battle Mahishasura and his army. assailed by two asuras, Chikshura and Chamara. Devi and her right lion make small of the demons, slaying them in one-on-one conflict. Mahishasura pounded the surface of the earth with his hooves and bellowed in rage. The earth disintegrated, the sea overflowed, the mountains shook. Furious Chandika flung her nose over his horns to bind him. No, he changed forms to become a lion, a man with sword, followed by an elephant, and back to being a buffalo. Quaffed the divine drink again and again, and let out a terrible laugh, her eyes becoming red. Ah, ah!
Deep, 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 takita, tom, 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 takita, num, 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 takita, jum, 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 takita, deep, deep, takita, tom, tom, takita, num, num, takita, jum, jum, takita, tam, takita, deep, takita, tom, takita, num, takita, takita, dikita, tom, kita, num, kita, takadika, taradom, 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 takadika, taradom, taradom.
An auspicious Devi issued forth from Devi Parvati's physical stead, the Kosha, and hence called Kaushiki. Devi Kaushiki, sitting atop Himalayas, was a woman of supreme beauty. Chanda and Munda, the servants of Shumba and Nishumba, saw her form and rushed to their king Shumba. They addressed the lord of Daityas, Shumba. All the best jewels, precious stones in 3 worlds belong to you. You now possess the best among the flora and fauna. The Parijata tree, the Airavata, and Uchchaishrava's horse. And here is the woman of unsurpassing charm who should be yours. She is Kaushiki. Shumba sends his asuras to find her whereabouts and bring her to him. Sugriva praises Shumba, the sovereign of 3 worlds, and elaborates that Devi would gain access to all the wealth by marrying him or his brother. Devi serenely explains the promise she has made to herself that she will marry the one who is her equal, the one who vanquishes her in a battle, and thus challenges Shumba and Nishumba to a contest. The messenger scoffs, "You, a single woman? Ha! Let it not be that you go to them with your dignity lost by being dragged by your hair." Devi smiles knowingly. What can I do, since there stands my ill-concerned vow, taken long ago? Go back and tell the Lord of Asuras carefully all this that I have said. Let him do whatever he considers proper. Kaushiki, having refused to accept Asura monarch Shumba's proposal, challenges him to a contest. Sugriva returns to Shumba and reports the events. Enraged Shumba orders Dhumralochana and his army to prepare for attack on Kaushiki. When Devi doesn't relent, Dhumralochana rushes to drag her by her hair. However, Devi, assuming the form of Chandika, reduces him to ashes with a mere heave of sound. Dhumralochana, the one with smoky eyes, represents avidya or ignorance. In today's age, we are blinded by illusion that the world is real and we are real. We are proud that we know everything. The 10-headed Ravana was so consumed by his mother, arrogance, that he could not see beyond himself. While Rama, in spite of being the God incarnate himself, always abided by dharma. Our ego stops us from seeking the one truth. Enlightenment comes from seeking the truth within us, and thereby finding our inner Devi. While Devi sat serenely atop the hill, Chanda and Munda approached her with their bows bent and swords drawn. The demonic qualities of pride, jealousy, lust, greed, anger reached a point of no return. This led Ambika to turn fiercely angry. Devi then took the form of ferocious Kali, her complexion turning as dark as ink. Kali is armed with a sword and a noose. She wears a skull-topped staff, wears a garland of skulls, clad in tiger skin, fearful, with her tongue lolling out, she roars ferociously even as she beheads Chanda and Munda. Kali came to be known as Chamunda, the slayer of Chanda and Munda. The ever compassionate and kind Devi transformed herself into the terrible Ghora Swarupini Kali, only to enable her devotees to get rid of the evils within. Our journey towards finding the inner goddess begins. Deviயை பணிந்திட அருள்பெரும்.
தேவியை பணிந்து அருள் பெறுவோம். தேவியை பணிந்து அருள் பெறுவோம்.
A massive army had gathered under Raktabija. Multiple Shaktis were created from different devatas: Brahmani, Maheshwari, Kaumari, Vaishnavi, Aindri, Varahi, and such. From the body of Devi issued forth the Shakti Chandika, most terrific, exceedingly fierce, and yelling like 100 jackals. She was called Shivaduti. Every time Raktabija's blood spilled, each drop gave rise to many more deadly clones. Just as the Devi's attack on Raktabija seems futile, Kali drinks his blood, enabling Shivaduti to annihilate him. And the Devis celebrate the fall of Raktabija. Sari gapa magari gapa, gapa da sari gapa da sa, ga sari gapa da sari gapa da sa, ga sari 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 gapa da pa, magari Durga Devi Charanam. Durga Devi Charanam Ninpadam Panindom Arul Perave Durga Devi Charanam Ana Raktabija represents the seeds of desire as it is in our day-to-day lives. In continuation to finding the inner goddess, desire is an aspect we need to stay in control of. When multiple Shaktis battle to slay Nishimba, Chandika challenges Shumba to a single combat. Even as Devi pierced the terrible Asuras with dart, the entire earth shook. The reverberations could be felt across seas and mountains. However, once the Asuras were slain, the universe regained perfect peace. The sun became brilliant. The wind became tranquil. Devas celebrated. Gandharvas sang sweetly. Apsaras danced. Others played instruments. Tat-tom, tat-tom, tit-tom, tat-tom, tat-tom, dit-tom, dit-tom, tat-tom, tat-dit-ta-dit-tom, tat-dit-ta-dit-tom, tat-dit-tom, dit-tom, dit-tom, tat-dit-ta-dit-tom, dit-tom, 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 tat-dit-ta-dit-tom, dit-tom, adit-tom, adit-tom, tat-dit-ta-dit-tom, dit-tom, adit-tom, dit-tom, tat-dit-ta-dit-tom, 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 ta. Shumba and Nishumba represent the feeling of ahankara, which leads to their downfall. We get closer to attaining the inner goddess when we shed our hubris. You are the mother of the universe. By you, all this universe has been thrown into an illusion. O Devi, when propitiated, you become the cause of final emancipation in this world. Sharanagata Dinarte Paritrana Para
My apologies, Sujatha. I think the end, I think I just kind of removed it from the live stream.
No, I think it came up, isn't it, till the end?
Yeah, yes, it did. It did. Oh, that was wonderful, wonderful. I have no words. Truly, the karuna, the grace of Devi. Take a
We really
moment,
felt, I
friends.
think we really felt that, as we were sitting back and watching.
Yes,
Um, yes, we went into the flow and started working on it, but this is the first time we are sitting back together and taking a look at the whole thing come together, isn't it? So it's a different feeling for all of us.
yes. I invite all the listeners to take a moment, absorb, assimilate the story. It's so beautiful. If you've been following us for all the 9 days, I think you would get a better perspective. And this is a story that you can revisit again and again, as it's going to stay in our archives on the YouTube as well as Facebook. And now I invite Sujatha, Ragini, as well as Rakshita and Dr. Padmaja to engage in conversation and talk about Devi Mahatmayam, the production. And I know Dr. Padmaja is a great exponent and also a great Devi Upasakar, also, I was told. Correct me if I'm wrong. So, Dr. Padmaja, what are your thoughts on Antarmayi? Can you unmute yourself, Dr. Padmaja? Yeah, yeah.
Awed by the courage of these three ladies because Devi Mahatmyam is a very, very powerful text. Like for any Devi Upasakar, the first basic one is Lalita Sahasranama because you call the mother by 1,000 names. And if you even call her any which way you like, she still responds, right? And the second level is a Saundarya Lahari. There's a little bit of a tantric element in that, the first 41 verses, which talk about our chakras and how to overcome one layer after the other. And the third, on the highest plane, is kept the Devi Mahatmyam. So I'm sure all of you have gone through that, the Nyasa also, the Shariri Kanga Nyasa, which is important before you start even going into the text. I'm sure the person whom you had referred to, the lady scholar whom you had met before you started, would have initiated you into that. And that is the reason I also see there is a kind of a 9 yards that you have worn, because generally when we chant Devi Mahatmyam, even during Navaratri, we wear the 9 yards, not the normal sari, because that is the Shuddha, when you say, uh, when you put your kavacham in all the required places, you yourself begin to follow a certain kind of an austerity, very much necessary for chanting this text. So, looking at the way they have approached it, one chapter after the other, I think Sujatha, Ragini, and Rakshita, am I right in your having taken it for my for my own knowledge that you have gone through certain minimal requirements, isn't it? And how did you feel different compared to taking up any other text which you perform? How different you found this was?
Sujatha, Ragini, unmute yourself.
What is the difference in approach, I said, when you took up Devi Mahatmayam compared to any other choreography?
For one, Sujatha and all the viewers, um, this whole production started off with a conversation that Rakshita had, and from there on, we really thought somebody was leading us the way. So I wouldn't say that we did it, but we were just led by the divine to do what we did. We are extremely
Ragini?
humble.
Akka, when we three were discussing from the beginning, as Sujata Akka said, when the idea came up and she was saying we were discussing. Actually, Rakshita and Sujata Akka had met in Mumbai, and that's when they started discussing. And when they wrote me in, I was totally excited. But from the time we started. We embarked upon this idea, a whole new level of energy sort of came into us. We really don't know where we got that energy from because there were so many obstacles, personally and professionally, but we have no idea where that energy came from. It
I
just,
see.
I would only say that it was a divine calling, and that just led to things one after the other. And it gave us a totally new kind of drive to, and at one point I remember Sujata was telling that Devi has literally consumed me. And that's how I felt at some point. That's how Rakshita was, especially after we completed the video shooting. I think Rakshita was totally consumed by it when she was editing, and so at different phases, each one of us was so involved that we really don't know where we got all that drive from.
I'm glad, Rakshita, you all also took Deviye Paninde, Arul Peruvom from the Meenakshi Varnam. That
Yes.
stanza fitted in very well. And the whole journey of Devi Mahatmyam is from the tamasic to the rajasic and finally to the sattvic guna. So Mahakali the first 3 days, and then Mahalakshmi, because once you've removed ignorance, then you become polished, you get prosperity. And then you realize prosperity is not about material prosperity, it is about illumination within. So that's when you go to the Sattva Guna. And beyond even the Sattvic Guna, that is the 10th day is all about. So after the 9, the 10th is once you complete the 9, you come to infinity. The whole arithmetic problem is between 1 to 9. So after 9, the 10th is the final where you reach infinite. You call it void, or you call it vacuum, or you call it the entire Brahmanda. It is the way you look at it. Nothing and everything are together. So that self realization, the cleansing aspect comes to you, and then you are rejoicing, celebrating with Lakshmi, abundance, and then Saraswati gives you that inner light. So it's about Maha Maya, knowingly we get into inertia. We all know, we are all aware that this is not the truth, what we see, what we enjoy, but yet out of habit we hanker after it. So you remove the three malas, you see, your as an anu, as an atom, how you remove those malas, what you're born with, your prarabdhas, your sanchita papa karma, all that with karma yoga, and then dhyana to get you to the highest supreme knowledge. So Devi Mahatmayam is the complete, most authentic, most important text for Navaratri. But the approach to it, as I said earlier also, is we all follow, we hear, we read, and we imbibe. As you said rightly, you have to marinate with the idea and then see how you can bring it into our everyday life. And the dialogue between the Raja, there is a Raja, there is a the Surat or Surada, and Samadhi, the merchant. We have this dialogue every day, right? Between the Raja and the Rishi in ourselves also. The Raja is always for material pursuits. And the Rishi tells, take a break. Do you really require it? How much do you need? You go around the world, you do all this, finally you're going to sit quiet and say, what next? Nothing more next. So that state, if you are able to, on a regular basis, imbibe in yourself, you're safe. That is, the Devi Mahatmyam doesn't tell you that you give up everything or your karma or your day to day. It's a tantric text which says, Iha para, what is in this world is equally divine. But the approach, your attitude to that work should be from that transcendence. From that para, you come to this, how you handle your, and you're able to deliver, like say Janaka Raja does his duty. Right? He's called as the example. So, and the Rishi corrects the Raja every now and then. So it is a very potent, a very relevant text, especially for the pandemic, I'm sure. Removing all these negative tendencies, the ego, the differences between us, and taking all towards the one path of Advaitic unity. So thank you very much, Ushaji, and the three very promising dancers. You've made a great attempt, and you have to now go further and further and give a full-fledged dance drama, maybe with the typical the natya that we have with our ensemble, and make it really much more for all of us to relish. So this is the beginning of the journey. Yes, am I right, Sujatha, Ragini, and Rakshita?
Absolutely, Akka. It's like I've said even initially, this is the tip of the iceberg.
I heard you saying that.
So much to go deeper and absorb and build on this. This is just the beginning of our journey.
Even
Thank
while we
you.
were going
Good.
through the text, there were so many details, and we could only take the essence or very condensed part of it for 3 or 4 minutes.
Oh, no, but you have gone ahead. You have taken the Samanya and the Guhya level. The ordinary and the hidden meaning also were conveyed. And I'm sure with thanks to Ushaji's commentary and the explanation in the beginning, the audience have got definitely a gist of the Mahatmya.
Dr. Padmaja, I words fail me. You were so beautifully you explained Devi Mahatmyam that I could listen to you on and on. You know, it's like it's pearls of wisdom were flowing out, and it's so beautiful. I mean, this is my first encounter with Devi Mahatmyam. I know Lalita Sahasranamam, even. Um, which is the other one you said?
Saundarya Lahari.
Saundarya Lahari. I know 40 shlokams. But Devi Mahatmyam is an unknown story for me. And I know the three dancers felt divine grace. I have felt Devi's grace. And she's granted me that one wish that I've been longing for, and I've just received it now in the evening. So that is divine grace.
Thank you.
You
All
were
the best.
amazing. I think I could go on listening to you some more And you beautifully said this is so perfect for the pandemic and for us to visit the inner goddess and peel the layers of ignorance, of arrogance, of ego, anger, and so many things, desire.
And as
Very, very.
dancers, it's very significant on the 10th day again. Why do you go to the guru? And you take diksha again. So it says that, like Vidya Dadhati Vinayam, once you get humble, the guru shows you that, right? So when you culminate and you get the 10 months, it's like you're coming out from the garbha. The child has come out from the mother's yoni and then become completely cleansed to start the life. So that's the whole meaning of this 10 days that we have all seen. So, with that diksha, there should be further steps for all of us.
Yes.
Definitely, Akka. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Padmaja. Thank you, Sujatha. Thank you, Ragini. And thank you, Rakshita, for showcasing Antarmayi. It's been a pleasure. These past 9 days has been a pleasure for me, and I'm sure for all the viewers. And will promote this everywhere, and hopefully we will get a global audience to watch this. So that's my prayer to the goddess, that everyone gets to see Devi Mahatmayam, because the Falashruti says, even if you listen to the story, you will be blessed. Of course, if you read it or sing the text or read the text, of course, you will be granted whatever you desire. And the desire should also never go against the laws of nature. The desire asking cannot be the impossible. So that also keep in mind, friends, and I'm sure you know it. So it's been
Because
wonderful.
Devi
And
Mahatmyam also makes you overcome your prakriti, right? Your nature. So obviously the desire will be for the highest. And these three ladies have put up a Natya Tapas, I should say. A Natya Yagna, not a regular performance. Mahatmyam cannot be taken like that. It was like a tapas, and you were on fire. So that's the whole idea. Fire purifies. That's what has happened, okay, to all of us by hearing and seeing it. Thank you again.
I think we all need to give them a great round of applause. Like Dr. Padmaja said, yes, this is a tapas, a yagya. Thank you so much. Any last words, Sujata, Ragini, and Rakshita, before we end the segment?
A
I
very
just want to,
special Navaratri, and it will always be one that we will all together recall and talk about. So this is precious.
I just want to add that us uniting together was possible because of Padmaja Akka and Ramya Ramanathan Akka. We collaborated through the workshop, and pretty much I'd say Devi guided us from there. And everything that happened in the last 2 weeks, I would say just like that energy and enthusiasm that we put in to make this is not something I don't think we inherently possess it all the time. I think it's genuinely with the grace of Devi. So thank you so much, Akka. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much. Again, you three were the most brilliant in the whole workshop. That's why I'm seeing you all again.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much to all the listeners. Once again, wishing you happy Dashera. Please enjoy, watch Antarmayi, Devi Mahatmyam with your family and friends, and do share it. Yes. And I'll see you back not this Sunday, not next Sunday, but just before Diwali, because I need a break, and we are putting together a wonderful story for Diwali with yet another wonderful storyteller. So stay tuned, and I'll see you on Storytellers Cafe. Thank you, good night, and have a great day for all the listeners in the United States. Thank you.
This is Bharat FM.
बजेगा भारत झूमेगा भारत.
ये है भारत FM.
बजेगा भारत झूमेगा भारत.